Okay, how's everybody doing tonight, or this afternoon, or whenever you're watching this? Um, this chapter is fire officer communications. So we're going to deal with some verbal communications, and we're going to talk about written communications. So first things first, one of my pet peeves is command presence and how does the public perceive you. Um, this really isn't in the book, but I think it's important because we have preconceived notions. Um, when we see somebody, um, they may not be, what they seem. So first impressions are a big thing. It's especially important as a fire officer, especially as a senior fire officer. So looking at this picture for command presence, again, don't look at the department name, but just look at the way the chief and his staff is dressed, ready to go. They look well organized. Now this chief could be the worst chief in the world, but if you don't know him, just by looking at it, his persona, his presence is, this guy must really know what he's doing. All right. Take this command post over here on the right. I assume the guy in the white hat is the chief, but the guy to the left could be the chief. Again, this guy, he could be the best fire chief in the world, really know his stuff, but if you don't know him and you just take a look at this picture, your perception is, wow, this guy is not a real professional, just from his presence. So again, command presence, very important. How you're perceived by the public goes a long way. And that's not only in person. When we start talking about correspondence, writing letters, writing memos, sending emails, if you're writing to the public, or if you're writing to a business, and you have poor grammar, you have poor sentence structure, punctuation, you sound like a buffoon, well then the person that's receiving your letter or your correspondence is going to perceive you as a buffoon. So it's very important that you take the time to understand the English language, and if you don't, find somebody who does and let them write the letters, or basically transcribe the letters for you and then send them out. So written communications, first thing is they can be informal. So informal communications take the form of internal memorandums, emails, instant messages, and all this is used inside the organization. So when we say inside the organization, it's kept within the fire department. It's not going out to the general public. It's not going out to businesses, things like that. So then we have written communications that they consider formal communications. So formal communications are normally in a form of a letter format, because they're more than likely going out to the general public. You're sending them out to businesses. So you want the communication to be very formal. And there's a specific way to write letters. Now it used to be that prior to the internet, you could get a book on grammar and punctuation and letter writing, and it would give you ideas, topics. It would give you illustrations of letter format, things like that. Now with the internet, you can just Google letter format, and you could come up with half a dozen different templates that you can use to write a good letter. So it's a lot easier now with the advancement of the internet and all this material that's at our fingertips. So formal communication, it's an official document, and if it's a letter, it's going to be on the fire department letterhead, normally signed by the chief. So you as a senior fire officer or captain, assistant chief, you may have to draft a letter and have the chief sign it, or you may be at some point in your career move up to the chief and you're the person writing the letter and you're going to send it out. So it's an official document. And these letters, they're used outside of the organization. So that means you're writing to a specific business. Maybe you're asking for a donation. You're sending some type of, maybe a violation. But it's used outside the organization. Now, emails with electronic attachments are becoming more the norm. So again, still holds true. You have to have a good grasp of the English language. Proofread your documents, or have somebody else proofread your documents before they get sent out. Again, because once they get sent out, you really can't bring them back. And spelling and grammar and punctuation, they all count. So again, that's how you're going to be perceived by the general public. So if you're writing a letter to a business or somebody outside the organization and there's misspellings, there's poor grammar, there's poor punctuations, you don't know how to arrange a paragraph, you have run-on sentences, things like that, you're going to be perceived as well, this guy isn't really professional because he can't even write a decent letter. So again, it's on you. So use the tools that are. So written communications, all right. Everything is discoverable, especially it doesn't necessarily have to be electronic. You could have files of letters, written communication, things in your office that's official documents, but everything is discoverable. And what I mean by discoverable is anybody can OPRA your records. So OPRA stands for Open Public Records Act. So John Q. Public can say, listen, I want to see all your hiring information. I want to see all your information for a fire event. I want to see information on whatever. So if it's a public document, it is discoverable. So someone can go in and ask for your records, and you have to provide those records. Again, you can redact some personal information. Obviously, maybe if it has social security numbers on it, if it has addresses of personnel, things like that. But other than that, it's all discoverable, and the public has access to it because they're the ones paying for it. It's a fire department. You're using tax dollars. And they have the right to see it if they want. Okay, this includes emails, instant messages, anything done on department-owned equipment, even instant messages. You guys, I know guys are out there putting these instant messages out. That stuff stays in the system, and it can be found. All right, so be careful what you do. Big thing. I didn't really get into the social media stuff that's in the chapter. I think you need to read up on that as part of the class. I don't know what kind of questions they're going to ask if you're taking a test, but social media stuff is big, and social media is good. All right, it's good. We have Instagrams. We can put pictures out. We can show the public, hey, we're out there every day. We're going to fires. We're spending your money as you expect it to be spent for firefighting, for fire prevention, for education. So by all means, put your fire department out there on social media. But again, stay off the social media, at least with your comments. If you're going to comment on other departments' fires, if you're going to criticize other departments, just stay off of there if you don't have anything good to say. And if you're doing this on the department computer, the department has every right to go and look at your social media. So don't think it's just going away, because it's not. It's there. So report writing. So as a fire officer, you may be required to write reports. I know my department, the inspection department, my inspectors write fire reports all the time, and I have to read them, and I have to correct them, and I have to send them back. And most of the time, the reports are grammar, punctuation, a lot of run-on sentences. So again, you really need to buckle down on the understanding of the English language when you start to write. So the picture to the right is a report from NFIRS. So you may have to use data to prepare a report for the chief. So if you're going to do a report for a chief officer, there's a few ways that you could do it. If the chief is not presenting the report, but maybe he just wants to be kept in the loop of what's going on, you can provide what's called an executive summary. So a short report to the chief, maybe 1 page, some bullet points of the items of importance, just so if he's asked, he can say, "Oh yeah, I know what. Yeah, I'm in the loop. I know what's going on." Things like that. You may have to provide a more detailed report. So a more detailed report may go to another officer in the department on how to provide some type of training, all right, or understanding or the use of some new equipment. So it varies of what the type of report that you're going to write. Now, many times, especially once you get higher up, you may have to present the report. Now, we're not covering the PIO in this chapter. We're going to be covering the PIO and doing a press release in a future chapter. But again, a lot of this material is still going to be used. So when you're presenting a report, meaning you're speaking in public, you're speaking in front of a group, dress for the occasion. If it's a formal occasion, formal setting, you want to come with your Class A uniform. All right. If it's a more of a casual setting, maybe some type of business attire, things like that. And know your audience. You have to know the audience. You don't want to use jargon. All right. If you're speaking in front of a bunch of fire geeks who understand fire department speak, go ahead and use some jargon. All right. If you're speaking in front of a bunch of business people, keep it so the layperson can understand what you're trying to convey. A big thing, practice beforehand. And again, know your audience. Nothing like standing up there giving a speech and the people in the audience are looking at you like they're not understanding a thing you're saying, because you're speaking at a totally different level than what they're on. All right, so again, know the audience. So you represent the organization. Perception is everything, like I said in the first slide. People are going to see you, they're going to draw conclusions before they even know you. So for the most part, from a professional standpoint, you want to look like this guy. All right, I have no idea who this guy is. And also going back to the first slides with the two chiefs, I have no idea who those guys are either. So I just picked out some pictures and put them up there. So you want to look like this guy. All right, not this guy. All right. So if you're the chief and you're showing up like the guy on the right, maybe you better rethink. Class. We're going to be your assignment is to write a report. All right. Follow the skill sheet to fulfill the question that I presented, and good luck.